Hello, guys. I hope you are all doing fine. So, let's start today with the chapter 3 of ACE Personal Trainer Manual. Chapter 3 is communication and teaching techniques. So, let's start the chapter with a very beautiful opening sentence that is written in this manual that successful personal trainers consistently demonstrate. Okay, remember this thing because we are going to discuss this thing in this complete chapter. Okay, and there's also a Chinese proverb written somewhere in this chapter that it says something like, "Tell me and I'll forget, show me I may remember, involve me and I will understand." Somewhere it is written like this. I'll understand. Yeah. So, okay. So, this chapter basically talks about two things. First is the client trainer relationship, and the second thing is coaching techniques. Okay. So, let's just start the chapter and we'll not waste any time. Okay. So, stages of client trainer relationship. The stages are divided into basically four stages. The first is repo, second is investigation, third is planning, and fourth is action. Okay. So we'll discuss all the four stages, and we just listen carefully to these client trainer relationship stages because these are very important with respect to the exam. Okay, because they'll be giving you some of the other kind of technique, and they'll ask you this technique is being used in which stage. Okay, so remember all the techniques and remember those techniques are related to which stage. Okay, so we'll start with the repo stage. This is the basic stage. The whole ACE model is based on the repo, because whatever you are going to attain, your client is going to attain, it all depends on the this initial stage, that is what repo do you have in client's mind. Okay, how much they have trust in you, how much they believe in you. Okay, so this repo stage is basically mutual understanding and trust in between the relationship between the client and the trainer. It can be of any type, verbal or non-verbal. Okay, so it takes time to build. Basically, it depends on the positive first impressions. Verbal and non-verbal includes like voice quality, eye contact, facial expression, hand gestures, and body position. So these are things which you must take into consideration while you're training a client. That you must hold a very upright posture. There's a confidence in your voice. Okay, you don't feel anxiety or nervous kind of thing, and your facial expression should carry genuine emotions. Okay, your body posture should be correct. Hand gesture, you should not use too much hand gesture, like you're just moving your hands here and then, and the client is not able to concentrate what you're talking. So okay, you have to standardize everything. And voice quality is that you should inspire confidence. You don't have to sound weak or inconsistent, something like that. Okay, because they when once they have some belief in you, then only obviously your training is going to work. Okay, so this is the first stage, the basic stage. Then going on to the next stage, that is investigation. This is the crucial stage required for program designing. Okay, this is the stage in which you are going to ask millions of questions to your client. Depending on the like client to client, it will depend how many assessments you are going to take and how many questions you are going to ask. Okay, so investigation stage is basically review clients' health and fitness data, any available test results if they have from like doctor, any prior results earlier. They did some medical test or something like that. So you need the clearance, also clearance certificate from the doctor, and the client goals and exercise history. So these all things you need to take care of in this investigation stage. And this investigation stage can go for like couple of sessions. It's not like in the first session you have to take all the information. It is an ongoing process, but yes, in the starting, obviously when you will be having the initial assessment, then you will be able to gather more information. But once your training progresses, you'll be asking, depending on the progression, you will be asking few more questions depending on how it is going. So, okay, so this investigation stage requires effective listening skills. This is an important question with respect to exam. What kind of and how many types of listening skills are there? Like paraphrasing, encouraging, reflecting, asking open-ended questions, summarizing, and there are in this book as well, questioning. Okay, I've already covered summarizing, reflecting, paraphrasing, and encouraging. These are the 5 or 6 type of the different types of effective listening skills. You take a note of it, and just remember these are involved in investigation stage. Okay, investigation stage, not in any other stage, because this can come in exam. Okay, so now moving to the third stage, that is the planning stage. This planning stage is basically how you are going to plan the program design. Okay, so trainer designs the exercise program with the client, and client is now ready to begin working out. Okay, so this is a very important stage, as I said, with respect to designing of the program. Okay, so based on the couple of there are a couple of factors based on which you are going to design the program. As we talked in the last chapter, chapter 2, about the goals. So the goals have to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, and there are three kinds of goals. Then one is product goal, process goal, and smart goals. So we have already talked about smart goals. What is process goal? Process goal is something in which you have to like decide how many kinds of workout you are going to have. Okay, we are outlining the process. Okay, then the product goal is like you will be discussing on the weight part, the resistance part, how much weight the client is going to use, and how many repetitions are they going to use, how many sets. So defining the resistance, load, and all those things comes under product. You may get a question in exam that they'll give you a scenario in which they'll outline that client is going to have to do, bench press for the next 3 weeks. Okay, so what is this? Or they are going to focus on the chest or triceps area for this much amount of time. Okay, so what is this? This is process goal. And if they are giving you a scenario in which they are just defining everything, like for like 12 repetitions, like 4 sets of 12 repetitions for a 4 week period, or they have to reduce 4 lb or 10 lb, if they are outlining every detailing of the process, then that is a product goal. Okay, and the third one is smart goal. So planning stage, first of all, it is based on setting up the goals. The second is form and discuss alternatives, and third is form a plan. Fourth is evaluate the exercise program, and fifth is motivational interview. Guys, make a note, this motivational interview comes in planning phase, not in any other phase. They give a question that this motivational interviewing, and they'll give the types of motivational interviewing, and they'll ask you which state does it belong to. Okay, so motivation interviewing is asking probing questions, like open-ended questions, listening effectively, providing educational information, keeping the conversation friendly, building self-confidence, and encouraging. These all you have to remember, that these all type of things comes under the umbrella of motivational interviewing. Okay, then comes the last stage, that is the action stage. Okay, I'll check the book as well in between. Okay. Okay. So action stage is the last stage in which the client starts to actually they start working out. A trainer must have the ability to effectively teach new motor skills. As at this point, new motor skill is basically different type of exercises, the range of motion, the correct posture. Okay, so these are the new motor skills. Setting up self-monitoring system, like you have to train and educate the client how they can correct themselves, but not in the earlier stages. Obviously in the later stages they have to give the feedback to themselves, like we were talking in the chapter 2, intrinsic feedback. So that is coming in the later stages. Once they start doing exercises, you train them, you provide encouragement, you correct their errors, and then you provide enforcement, like we again talked in the last chapter, the type of feedback, what is the order. Okay, so okay, now you individualize the teaching techniques, that is tell, show, do. Remember this: tell, show, do. Tell is you tell what is the exercise, how they are going to do. Show, demonstrate the working of that exercise. And tell, show, and do, and then the client does it for you. So this is the order. Remind beginners that it takes time to improve motor skills. Obviously, introduce new skills slowly and clearly so that client does not get demotivated in the early phases of training. Allow clients the opportunity for focused practice. Okay. Fourth point is provide feedback. As we discussed in chapter 2, reinforcement, what was done well, then correct errors, and then the last part is motivate or encourage the client for the further practice and improvement. The fifth point is using effective modeling. You have to model every exercise for them. And sixth is behavioral contract. Action stage has behavioral contract. Remember this. This doesn't comes in planning phase or in the what was the other phase? Investigation phase. So every phase has some of the other specific activity aligned to them. Like investigation phase has effective listening. This planning phase has motivational interviewing, and action stage has this behavioral contracts. You remember this with respect to the exam. Okay, so this client trainer relationship has four different stages. We talked about them. Now moving on to the next one, that is next topic, that is effective communication. Effective communication is not that like important with respect to exam, but obviously you should practice effective communication. Then only you will be able to practice in this field. So that involves two things. One is cultural competence, and second is enhancing adherence. Cultural competence is nothing when you are going to get people from different ethnicities and from different backgrounds, maybe from different nationalities. You know how to encounter, you know how to handle them, how to talk to them, how to understand them. So you should very well know that, so that you can handle multicultural population. The second is enhancing adherence. Adherence, you have to show the empathy. You have to build rapport. That's the very basic thing on which this whole course is going to build up. And the second is professional boundaries. Always be very much professional with your client, and always respect their space and maintain the professional boundaries. Okay. Okay. So this is not a big chapter. I think this is just a 24-page chapter and not a big one. So now we have come to the last topic of this chapter, that is learning strategies. Remember, this learning strategy is very important with respect to exam, and you might going to get a couple of questions from this section. This has basically three stages of learning. So they might give you a scenario in which they'll explain the client is doing like these kind of exercises, they are taking help from you, or they are doing it on their own, something like that. Kind of, I'm just giving a high level brief about the scenario, and they'll be asking you that which stage does the client is in right now. Okay, so this learning strategy is basically of three types. The first one is cognitive, second one is associative, and the third one is autonomous. I have made my notes, but I'm just checking in my book as well, so that okay. So this is on page number 62. It comes under key concept. It is not in the other part of the book. It is only present in the key concept. So just as I'm always saying, that always have a marker or a pen when you are doing the key concept thing, and remember to mark everything, because this key concept is the crux of the chapter. It holds very vital information. Okay. So this cognitive learning stage is the first stage in which the client has just begun the exercise, and you are just telling them, showing them, and doing that exercise for them, and provide an opportunity for them to practice. This is the initial stage in which the client is learning new motor skills, and they'll be making a lot of mistakes. So you have to follow that feedback pattern. Okay. Encourage, correct errors, and enforce, motivate the client. Okay. So they are understanding the new skills. So this is the just first stage. Okay, the preliminary stage. The second is the associative stage. This is the second stage in which you have to give refined feedback to the client. They have kind of learned the new motor skills, and now they have associated themselves with the exercise. So you have to provide minimal feedback, and clients are mastering the basics and ready for more specific feedback that will help them refine the motor skill. And the trainer must balance giving appropriate feedback with the proper amount of feedback. This is very important. As the training and the exercise routine progresses, you have to understand that you have to reduce the feedback, and you have to change the type of feedback which you are giving to the client. Okay, because they are progressing, they are getting involved into the exercise. You don't need to push them hard on that, and you have to understand that how is their training going on, and depending on that, you have to provide the feedback, so that they don't lose confidence and they have trust in you. Okay. So the third and the final stage is autonomous stage of learning, in which the client is able to perform all the new motor skills effectively and naturally. They are able to maintain good posture. They are doing it the correct form. The range of motion is also perfect. Everything is perfect. So this is the last and the advanced stage. Okay. So in this stage, you have to provide the minimal feedback. You have to do more monitoring, and you have to control your feedback. Okay, so this is something where the trainers lack. In this course also, they have specifically focused on this, the amount of feedback thing. They have focused a lot on this, because this is a area in which the trainers need to improve a lot. because they tend to be more involved with the client and they just push their client hard, which is not good for the training, okay, and for the adherence and motivation, all these things. Okay, so I think this chapter is okay. This chapter has come to an end. Summary. Always read the summary that is mentioned in the last ending part of the chapter, because that concludes the crux and the summary of the, obviously the name suggests, crux of the chapter. So that's it. This video is done. It was around 15 minutes. Okay, so we'll be meeting in the next video with the fourth chapter. And what is the fourth chapter? Basics of behavioral change and health psychology. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. If you find it the content useful and helpful, please do like, comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much for watching.